Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to look at how to position the shoulders in postures where we're pushing. So it applies to things like downward facing dog, plank position, even applying to a lot of the arm balance positions. And I think it's one of the most important things that you can understand in the shoulder positioning in terms of taking pressure off the hands and off the wrists and bringing it into these much bigger set of muscles in the shoulders and the back and the chest. And one of the biggest things that this is going to change is, for one, preventing injury through the wrists and the hands, but also generating a lot more power, a lot more efficiency in those positions where we're on the hands and feeling like sometimes we can fatigue in the wrists and sometimes through the shoulders themselves. So hopefully this video will show just what a difference it can make to slightly change the understanding of where the shoulders sit when we're pushing the ground away. Let's have a look. So when we're in downward facing dog, some people might have heard the cue to place a little bit more pressure through the index finger and thumb side of the hand. And this makes a lot of sense. The radial bone, the inside bone of the forearm here, is a lot bigger than this outside bone of the forearm called the ulna. And so when we push the thumb and index finger more into the floor and prevent it from lifting up, which is a pretty common thing to do, when we can put that pressure down through the thumb and index finger side of the hand, we generate more force coming through that bigger bone of the forearm and driving it up into the shoulder, which is where we want the support and power to be in any of these positions where we're pushing the ground away. So as a general rule of thumb, if you're on your hands in any position in yoga where you've got to push the ground, so down dog, plank, etc., the thumb and index finger are looking to press down. Now that's not quite the end of the story, but it's definitely the start of the story in taking the alignment from the ground up. So do your best with that, and it might take a little bit of time to just feel that out, to get that conditioning starting to happen. I'd say some new muscles might start to be working in the forearms, and it's going to relate to how your shoulder stability is going to sort of reposition itself if this is feeling pretty unfamiliar, but give it a go. Thumb and index finger pressing down. Now, in something like downward facing dog, we're looking for something called external rotation on the shoulder. And I'll show you in just a moment. But if I can give you an example, it's to wrap the elbows and the armpits down and towards each other. So there's this wrapping in and down action on the shoulders. So what we can do is sit down onto the heels into a kneeling position or just sitting down. If you take your arms out in front of you, palms to face upward, just like we're in either plank or downward facing dog here, if you start to turn your hands and your arms outwards, you'll notice your biceps and your shoulders turn out and up. So they turn out and up. Now in that position, we don't have to go to that same degree, but that's the feeling. That's the direction that you're trying to take your shoulders in. Out and up. With that, if we do it again, roll them out, the shoulder changes in its position. You'll feel a little bit more power coming to the shoulder. I can feel all my muscles activate through my shoulder there. If we roll them out, but then turn the hands back to center, that's the position. Now we don't want to go crazy with this. So if I give you an idea, if I place my hands down and we ground the thumb and index finger, we put a little bit of weight through the radial bone, the inside of the arm, naturally you'll notice that makes the arm want to turn in, but that's not what we want to do. So we got this kind of corkscrew action of polarizing directions through the hand, the arm, and the shoulder. So as the hand kind of rolls in and down, we try and keep that planted there, thumb and index finger, but then from the shoulder, I can't stress this part enough, not from the elbow. The shoulder rolls out. So we don't want to strain the elbow. We don't want to stress the elbow joint. But we do want to put the shoulder into a really good, powerful position where the muscles can activate and function most efficiently to support the weight of the body on the arms and on the hands. So thumb and index finger down. And then the shoulder rolls out. It's more than just out. It's out and down. Out and down. So there's that wrapping in and away. Wrapping the shoulders in and away from the ear. As soon as I do that, even here on tabletop, I can feel my thumb and index finger want to lift. And so there's this play of polarity that's happening. Shoulders rolling out, thumb and index finger rolling down. And hopefully just that feeling of polarity creates this beautiful stability and force through the shoulder. Now, if I give you an example, some of you might also heard of a cue when the arms are above the head to bring the shoulders away from the ears. Now, that's only half of the story. What we're really trying to do here is create space between the ear and the shoulder through the rotation of the shoulder. So it's not just dropping the shoulder blade or the shoulder down, but it's in fact rolling it in that same way that we just did. So if we roll the shoulder out, it creates that space naturally. So if I raise my arms up here as high as I can, we don't want that. We don't want the traps, these muscles at the top that always get tight for all of us and we want massaged. We don't want them to be quite so active. So if you raise your arms up and really reach, you'll feel them activate. Now it's not as simple as just dropping them down. We don't want that. Instead, if you raise them up and then rotate your palms in to face each other, and there's that same wrapping in action of your shoulder or your armpit trying to face each other. And you'll feel the space come. So if I just rotate, you'll feel and see, hopefully, that space happen from the shoulder to the ear. And these are all the elements that we want to try and bring together when we're in downward facing dog, plank, or even something like crow. So if I give you an example here, even just on hands and knees, which is more than enough to give you an example of it. So sometimes if we're pushing the ground away and we're doing something called protraction, that's to sort of round the upper back and separate the shoulder blades, this is a nice, powerful position for the shoulders, especially to push something away from us. But more than that, we want to find a little bit of rotation at the shoulder. So again, let's do it again. Thumb and index finger down. Shoulders rotate out a little bit. We're pushing the ground away, and I feel solid through the shoulders. And we can keep that action, tuck the toes, lift the knees, and find that plank position. So immediately, I feel it much more through my shoulders, but the important thing is that I don't feel it in my wrists. These tiny little joints here connecting the hand to the forearm are not really designed to take the entire weight of your body onto them. We definitely want to be using some of the finger strength and grip strength, gripping the ground, so some traction, fingers squeezing the floor, but really more to the point, these big muscles in the shoulders, chest, and sort of this upper back region that help us and are designed to push something away from us. More than that, there's that little bit of, it's called external rotation, but it's that feeling of wrapping the armpits in towards each other. If you're interested in learning more about protraction, this action of pushing the ground away, we've got another video there in the description. Look forward to hearing about your experiences with this, and if it changes your practice, would love you to comment, and I'm happy to help out with any questions that you might have around it. Take care, have fun, keep practicing. Much love. See you soon.